CQ RAYNET. This is G4NRC, Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf Sierra Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time and is open to all radio amateurs interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic news, opinions and information, with additional information available on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat how I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, please do try again. If you miss your turn to call in, I will call for strays at the end of the UK and international sections. So I'll now begin taking check-ins to the RAYNET-UK activity net as usual in call sign number order. So any station with figure 8 wishing to check in, please call now. This is G4 and RC.
Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G8 EEY, name is Mike. Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform, in a wet and soggy Norfolk. Good afternoon, Greg. No other traffic, just in and out, please.
G4 and RC, so I've got Mike, Golf 8 Echo Yankee staying with me, and Bob, Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform. Good afternoon, Bob, copied you in and out. Any other 8s, please? G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so it's 7. The station's figure 7 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
Golf 7 November Echo Hotel G7 NEH. Good afternoon, Greg.
Week 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg. For an RC, so I've got Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, and Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Any other 7s, please? G4 and RC, over.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, name is Stephen, Dane Valley Group.
For an RC, good afternoon, Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Okay, come back for any others later in the strays, but let's go for 6s now. Station's figure 6 and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
Good afternoon, Golf 6 Papa Delta Echo, Christian East Suffolk. In and out, please, Greg.
G6 PDE, good afternoon, Chris. Copied you in and out. Any other 6s, please? G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so let's have 5s. Station's figure 5 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, let's go for 4s. Station's figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
P4 KIL, Philip South Sussex.
Oh, 4 Kilo Uniform Juliet, Traveller in Watford.
Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, Dane Valley. G4 X-Ray Uniform Romeo, Somerset. Good afternoon, Greg. In and out, please.
Is G4 and RC. I know at least one station got squashed in the middle of that, so who I've heard is Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, Trevor, G4 Kilo Uniform Juliet, and Phil, G4 HUF, who are all staying with me. David, Golf 4 X-Ray Uniform Romeo, copied you is in and out. Can any of the missing fours please try again, please? G4 and RC, over.
G4 REV, John, Central Field, in and out, please, Greg.
G4 and RC, good afternoon, John, Golf 4 Romeo Echo Victor, and copied you in and out. Right, let's go for 3. Stations figure 3 in that call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray. Ian, in and out. Thank you.
Three Zulu Hotel X-Ray, good afternoon, Ian. Copied you in and out. Any of the 3s, please, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's have 2s. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, and that includes you intermediate 2s. Please call now, over.
2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, calling from Midway.
Two Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra. Good afternoon, Colin. Thanks for calling in. Any other 2s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing else. Let's have 1s. Stations figure 1 in their call sign. Please go ahead, over. G4 and RC, no 1's seen, so let's have 0s with Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please call now, over.
Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha. In and out today, Greg. Have a great day.
Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, Drew, West Devon, also in and out.
Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, Philip, Northern Ireland, in and out.
Is G4 and RC, so I've got Alan, Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, Drew, Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, and Philip, Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, all checked in, but all in and out, and nice to see you've actually got some power back, Philip. Any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over? G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's have Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over.
Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon, Greg. Name is Andy. RAYNET Pembrokeshire. No traffic today, so in and out, please. Over.
AW0JLX, G4 and RC. Good afternoon, Andy. Making check-in number 17 of the day, so we're already on a good win. And thanks for being in and out. Do we have any UK stations who missed their turn to call in wish to do so? Please call now, G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard. So do we have any of our international colleagues on the talk groups today? That's usually Nordsamband of Norway, Aaron in Ireland, Aries in Slovakia. Any of our international colleagues, please. G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard. So anybody, UK or international, waiting to join in the RAYNET-UK activity period, please call now. G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, great, nothing heard. So we can get to the news. But usually the warning first. Today's net is being live streamed by Graham, G7NAH, to YouTube today. At least I hope it is. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NAH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, on YouTube. And if you do watch the videos, please mash the like and subscribe buttons so we know the service is still being used. Storm Eowyn caused significant disruption this week, and hot on the heels of that weather system, Storm Herminia, named by the Spanish Weather Service, has much of the UK population currently under further weather warnings for strong winds and rain today, which will slow recovery. Our colleagues in Arran, in the Republic of Ireland, were preparing for Storm Eowyn well ahead of time in making sure they had full vehicle fuel tanks and water supplies, given the wide area and possibly prolonged power losses that were expected as a result of the storm. And in subsequent discussions in our chat group, the idea of a prompt sheet for members was discussed. There was a lot of overlap in the original one put forward with existing government Be Prepared messages. So the question is whether we should promote those kind of messages or produce something more focused on the radio response. I'm watching the discussion develop across in Ireland, but what do you think would be useful? And on the energy networks in the UK, the gas network storage tanks are 32% full, and the electricity networks aren't showing any significant loss of load probabilities for any supply and demand issues. So what thoughts from everyone this week? Starting with you, Mike. Golf 8, Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8 EEY, always the easy at the top of the at the top of the report. Yeah, as Bob said, bit damp and gloomy. 4.1 Celsius, 991 millibars, so we're in a bit of a low at the moment. 92% relative humidity, 100% cloud cover. And currently 24.1 miles per hour, gusting to 44.4 miles an hour. So Hermione, or whatever her name was, certainly beginning to pass through, and that's coming from 145 degrees, so it's actually not too bad out there, really. Sort of formatted messages, well, as you know, you've probably experienced the same thing as we do, that every occasion comes up with things that formatted messages don't fit. I think of the Great Yarmouth Unexploded Bomb, where we don't have that many forms for that. You have to deal with them as and when they arrive on the spot, usually. From G8 DEY.
It's Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, possibly some other misconstruing there, but in reverse order of what I'm thinking about. Yes, you're ahead of the list at the moment, but when Ofcom finally sort out the M8 and M9 call signs, there will be people ahead of you, I am sure, coming through, and the 2 series call signs, they try and phase them out. Noted on the weather, Storm Herminia is not over as fully yet, I don't think, so you've got a little bit more low to go. And I was more looking at the public information messages of the Be Prepared. What was being put initially on the Irish chat group was the usual community preparedness of winds, winds bolting stuff down, making sure nothing's going to blow about, fill a bath full of water so you've got water if the water supplies go off, which is very public facing, and then it's evolved into, what should we not be saying, make sure all your batteries are charged, and not totally replacing the public information message. So that, I think, is where we're at, and the UXB falls into the same category of, can you get out of your house and go and sit in a rest centre for a while? What are you going to take with you? Okay, so there'll be more on that on round 2. Let's go and talk to Graham. G7NEH, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, G7NEH returning. Just check out that I'm actually getting it. G4 NRC, G7NEH, good afternoon Greg, good afternoon all on the net. And not a lot to report this end. Weather, temperature's 5.6 degrees at the moment. And wind, we've got quite a windy day, as you no doubt you know. Current wind speed is 4.7 mile an hour, with gusts today reaching about 20 mile an hour. So there we go. I'll give you the viewing figures on the next round, and pass it back to you, G4 NRC, G7NEH.
G4 and RC picking up the net again. Okay, not sure what's going on with Graham. Dave, do you want to confirm things are still working? Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. I got 100% of Graham's message there, but I am too coming in through GB7WX today. I've reprogrammed a little Linko and put a tail on the quad band antenna on the pole, and it's opening up WX down at Tarvin there. But looking at the video, the dashboard on YouTube and the RAYNET dashboard, Graham wasn't opening up and appearing on the dashboard for some reason. So whether I just got it because I'm local to him, not 100% sure there, Greg. Back to you, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar.
Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC. Okay. Network freeze internally, but it's got signals from you via the repeater. Of course, I can't use that easily here. In a different room in the house than where the main shack antenna is. Something I should probably cure, but maybe in summer when I can put antennas up without them being blown over. Let's go back and see if we've still got Graham. G7NEH, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, G7NEH, are you getting me now, Greg, over?
For an RC, yes, over.
G4 NRC, G7NEH, sorry about that. Okay, I'll give you the viewing figures on the next over. I just went through the weather stats today. Temperature of 5.7 degrees, and as you know, the wind has been
798, G4NRC returning. Okay, Graham, all copied that time round. No packet losses, no nothing. Cementing our position as Chester being the most boring place for weather. We're on the edge of all the weather warnings, so it qualify as mildly breezy in my mind at the moment, blowing a couple of things around. I have recovered, however, the TK brackets for you to put your weather station up to a more appropriate height. And when I can figure out a vehicle to fix the scaffold pole in, I will get those across to you, and then again when weather is better, you can play with doing some antenna work and weather station work. Right, over to Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC, over.
G4. G4 NRC, this is my 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Had a bit of a drop out there. Very good afternoon to all on the net, and looked like we picked a good day yesterday, weather-wise, to pick up those masts. That's what we were saying on the way back. We were saying with G4 NRC, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta had another dropout. But, yeah, we definitely picked a good day for picking up those masts. That's what we said on the way back. Yeah, those will definitely be getting put to good use. Currently being stored at Haywood Squadron for the time being, till we can get them into our wing headquarters. Yes, we need to have a play around with them and put them up, just the three of us. And just see what sort of risks are going to be around for the cadets, and then we'll formulate a risk assessment and get them used. But I will say thank you very much for donating the masts to us. Over.
Seven Victor Sierra Delta, G4 NRC. Okay, all copied. Yes, I was equally thinking the weather was pretty much on your side yesterday for that. I'm guessing you're coming in through GB7HM, which, yeah, normally is in a good location, where the dropouts are occurring. Let's have a quick listen to that one earlier. Right, let's move down the list. We haven't got many to go today for some reason, just because we've got loads of time. I'll keep it moving, Stephen. G4KAL, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC from G4KIL. Thanks so much, Greg. Not got much to contribute in terms of the preparation question, which is probably just poor reflection of myself, having not thought much about it. Main comment, I think, is the. I think I managed to get a comment bounced through to you on JS8 call, and I think you acknowledged. That was the impression I had. I think we tried it direct and then got via somebody else. Was that last Monday? I think on 80 meters. I don't know if that was your impression as well. Yeah, that's probably the main thing for me to say at the moment. Oh, apart from if I think Collins from Kent is still on the side there, and just to say thank you for your response to my email, and we've got you in for June. Don't need a direct response from me on that. Well, it comes around to him, he can acknowledge it, but I don't need to have direct and immediate acknowledgement for that one. Okay, back to you, Greg, G4NRC, G4KL.
G4KAL, G4NRC. Yeah, I really think you managed to get something through to me. Not sure whether acknowledgement got pinged back though, but I did see we had got a station, I think it was in the Netherlands, that was acting as a suitable relay with my memory of last week. But I have quite a backlog of RAYNET-UK team emails to catch up on to do that, and some others promoting other modes that need to equally be answered. But yeah, not proved as it works, but we have made it work over time. HF, however, has been really problematic for finding appropriate bands to work through on anything other than ground wave, it feels, over the last couple of nets. So we'll see what the non-voice net this week brings us. Right, to Trevor at G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC. And the group G4KUJ. Yes, good afternoon to you, Greg, and to everybody else. What have I been up to this week? Still got a problem with my HF aerial, and only got the interior loft dipole, trap dipole. But I will have a try to get through to Peter on DMR, not on DMR, on Pactor, probably tomorrow night, and see if I can manage to raise him. Although conditions do seem, as you say, to be pretty rough at the moment. The only other thing on the radio front, or two things really, having had the pump, the failing or the dying pump on our central heating system replaced on Thursday, I managed to get back into the room where the QO100 system is, which had had no heating for about 3 or 4 weeks, and checked all that out both on speech and data using Olivia, and it survived the wet and the wind and so on, and is still suitably aligned and the right strength of signals coming back. And the only other thing noticed in Radcom this week, which came in this week, in its own entry-level DMR radio, which looks quite an interesting, sort of fairly economical, attractive purchase at something like £120, and includes 2 batteries and 2 aerials. So that might encourage a few more people coming on to DMR, hopefully. So back to you, G4NRC, G4KUJ.
KUJ, G4NRC, returning. Yeah, I've not looked at that radio yet, but one of the things I've been listening to on a variety of podcasts and various other opinion pieces online is that any of the digital voice modes tend to have a different idea of entry level. They might be able to get the equipment cheap, but if somebody's got to figure out how to program it, we're back to having code plugs prepared for almost every radio on the market just to try and make people's life a little easier, which is something radio clubs used to be more into, but the vibe I'm getting is that people are just seeing that initial get the radio program to do the right thing being far harder than actually finding the spending pennies to get the radio themselves. Okay, on QO100, you've jogged my memory for something I read online last night, that somebody's actually managed to bounce a signal off a geostationary satellite, but not in an active manner. They did a bit of moon bounce, but shot some poor innocent geostationary satellite instead and just used it as a passive reflector. So slightly old school, but don't try this at home. I think they had far more power and antennas than other people might have, so Q100 is probably still the better way of getting wide area coverage. Okay, round 2, Phil, G4HUF, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HUF. Good afternoon, all on net. Is your insomnia cure session coming up now with me wittering on? Weather conditions, that's interesting. Listen to Manchester 80s just before the net started. They're giving a temperature of +5. Wind direction of 150, so from the southeast, at 19 knots. The 80s doesn't show the gusting levels in that respect. And the pressure of 981, which was as low as it was the lowest point during AWN. So it's definitely a bit breezy and unpleasant out there at the moment. Let's hope that it doesn't cause any more issues, but I'm sure that there's going to be a few problems with trees and the like that have been weakened by the previous storms. Anyway, radio-wise, still a little frustrated that I'm talking about programming radios. I'm still struggling trying to sort out the 9700 at the moment. I've come to the conclusion it must be a setting. It's either a fault or a setting on the radio itself that needs to be settled to get it to work. Because I've tried with 3 different computers, and I get the same end result. So that's the situation with me at the moment. I haven't had much time to play with that stuff because, I seem to be a little bit busy with chauffeuring duties. I think the tally for this week was Pat had a total of 6 or 7 medical appointments to attend last week, and several of them were early in the morning. And driving up to Withenshaw Hospital, sorry, not Withenshaw, Withington Hospital, for 9 o'clock reminded me how nice it was to be retired from G4HUF.
G4HUF, G4NRC returning this time with the Brandmeister side of the bridge waking up. Okay, yes, you have to do the retirement thing. My countdown clock is running, but not running fast enough. Okay, sorry to hear you've got a problem with you've tried 3 computers. I suppose it is giving you answers so that the programming lead itself is not in question, as an idle thought. But not possessing a 9700 can't easily help on that one. You said insomnia, and it has not quite got to that point yet, but I was half contemplating digging out my Radio Mobile software and the G3 TVU book to try and have a look at those path predictions you were doing for your Bollington ride later on in the year. But I've got an equal massive stack of things to do. But we'll see whether or not yours bubbles to the top or you beat me to it. Right, let's go to the potentially windy south. Colin, 2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, from 2E0 CMS. Good afternoon, all. I must admit, down in our little corner in Kent, we seem to have escaped most of the really bad weather. We've got a couple of wind warnings and rain warnings at the moment for the rest of today, tomorrow and Tuesday as well. We had a nice one this morning as well, but that will disappear by about 9 o'clock. Apart from that, I haven't really got anything to add. There was a comment from G4KIL, Phil, about an email. I haven't seen any emails. I've just been rooting from the spam, so I might have to stay behind after school and see what that's about. G4NRC 2E0 CNS.
Oh, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC. Yeah, I tend to have 3 buckets for email. There's the inbox, the spam box, and then the conscience box. If I really should have answered that ages ago and haven't got around to it yet. So if you can't find it, I'm sure KIL will elaborate on the next round, or as you say, there's always the option of detention after the net to make things go. It is interesting, as I guess 17 check-ins today. Definitely see there's some seasonal effects of how the net manages to run between holidays and darker nights, etc. Right, let's go back to the top. Take final round then. Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, round to you, Mike. G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC from G8 EEY. I was just thinking about the DMR situation. I must admit, it does occupy quite a lot of my time keeping up with the various upgrades and updates that keep coming out. If you've got a few of these DMR radios, I've got Retovis and Anytone and others, yeah, it can take quite a while to go through all this heart-stopping upgrades where you have to back up the radio, then effectively wipe it while you do the update and then reinstall everything. And then if you transfer all the files from one computer to another that maybe you're running a different operating system, quite often you end up on a right old clag. But yeah, I think that probably is what is putting people off when they say, oh, I need training on these radios. They're more thinking in terms of, yeah, you do have to set them up, and sometimes things appear and disappear on the upgrades. Otherwise, nothing further to add. At least we steered clear of most of the wet during the last couple of weeks. Little Norfolk was out on the right-hand side. It was the only bit that was green at one point on the flood advice service. But, yeah, we keep watching. From G8 EY, and thanks for running the net, Greg.
8 Echo Echo Yankee G4 and RC returning. Yeah, really wish we could find a decent source of flood warnings as an RSS feed, so we could actually just drag it into something to give you a better picture. Having to hunt around several websites to find all the information we need for situational awareness is a bit of a pain. Okay, thanks Mike, see you next week. Graham, round to you, G7 and the H, G4 and RC, over.
Returning. Yeah, okay, Greg. So this week's views on the net, we've had 20 views and there's 5 concurrently viewing and 4 likes. So last week's views were 33 views for the week and 6 likes. So that's what we've got so far. Okay, thanks for running the net, and we'll catch you in the week. If not on this net next week. G4 NRC, G7 and the H.
G7 and the H, G4 and RC. Okay, Graham. Yep. We'll see how it goes when I measure up this scaffold pole and see which vehicle it fits in as to when they can get stuff over to you, and so then you can get your weather station popped up a little bit higher. I'm sorry for missing your call last night, but the training session I expected to be 2 hours was more like 2.5 by the time it finished, so you were probably better in the pub than I was. Okay, thanks for that. Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Yeah, not a great deal to add this, Greg. Got your message, read the room booking. I'll send an email tomorrow, and once I've got the confirmation I'll forward it on to you, but I can't see that being a problem at all. We have got Wi-Fi there, so you'll be able to connect the laptop if you need to go sort of stream the meeting as well. And there's that Lenovo beating gizmo thing on the wall under the TV screen. If you remember seeing that last time you were there, it's got a built-in camera and stuff like that for multi-occupant meetings. That's there as well if we need it. But thanks for taking that, and should catch you next weekend, Greg. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC. Okay, thanks for the reminder about the big screen. Amusement to the non-Cheshire people. This is me trying to sort of West Cheshire RAYNET HEM out. I'm trying to think about doing it hybrid, so we need to have big screens so people can be seen in the room. So yeah, I'm not sure how easy it'll be to integrate that with what we're going to do, Dave, but challenge accepted. Well, at least the Wi-Fi means I can get a minimum link going, if nothing else. Okay, look forward to getting that email. Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, I did forget to say to you when you called in from Orange Approach on the A51 yesterday to the location you were meeting me, that was pretty much handheld to handheld cover on 70 centimetres, so I think you did 2 or 3 miles there, no problems at all, so it was quite interesting for the test, and proved things will work without trying to get to a busy repeater. Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Yes, it all worked rather well. I was on this particular handheld, the Ailens HD2, just running it in analog mode yesterday, so it worked quite well. And now I've changed antenna. My first over was with the stock antenna on the radio, and this over now is with a shortened stubby antenna, so wonder if it's made any difference, but we'll see about that. And I'll say thank you for running the net, and catch you next week, over.
7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC returning. Okay, might have been a couple of little extra packet drops or sibilants on that over as you switch to the stubby, but if you're off HM, then its coverage is rather long range, as I found doing a trip up from Bristol earlier on in the week, where CR, which is on the same site, was covering an enormous range on 70 centimetres. And proved actually to give me something to listen to. If anybody wants another exercise to play with through the week, try driving up and down the country monitoring the 2-metre calling channel and have a guess at how much activity you might hear. More than you think, but it is rather localised. Okay, 7-3 Stephen. Philip, what mischief are you planning this week with your HF testing? And you might want to respond further on Colin's query about your email. Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KIL. Yeah, okay, taking order. No more specific testing on JSA call. I wasn't planning any more of that this week, unless you knew of something that was going on that I could help with. Oh, apart from the fact, well, okay, the number 2 would be the main HF net. I do expect to be on for the data net on Tuesday, and from that point of view, I may well be trying to be set up for JSA call either just before or just after or both of that net. So whatever band we end up on, I should think for that one, well, except probably 60 metres if it's that one. I'll probably be doing the JSA call before or after. And the last one for Colin. Sorry, Colin. I think I have just confused you. I think it was my typical thing of saying a message rather quickly and rather garbled and not making it clear. I was actually merely trying to acknowledge your email to me received on the 19th, where you had acknowledged the question that Melody had put to you about the event in Kent, and you had suggested which would be the most suitable evening for you to come and talk to us about rest forms. I was merely acknowledging your email. Hopefully that makes it clear. When it comes round to you, you can say whether that's the case, and if it's not, I'll hang on a week and I'll try and clarify after the net, but hopefully that's what's clear. So you don't need to look for an email. There isn't another one for you to find. Right, that's for me, I think, for this week. Thanks for running the net, and hopefully see you on the screen on Tuesday night if you're up for the HF net. Greg. G4NRC, G4KIL.
G4KIL, G4NRC. Yes, I am expecting to be on the HF net. I think, given conditions, we might still be optimistic if we're heading up to 5 megs at that time of night. Might still be 80 metres fighting through all the noise, but we'll do what we can. Okay, thanks for that. Trevor, G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ. Yep, okay, all stations. Just a couple of points regarding the new Anytone radio. I read an American review, I think it was, where at least the code plug that works on an 878, the big brother with the Bluetooth and GPS, can be used to plug into the new radio with no issues apparently. And the second point to G4HUF, Phil there, I have an IC9700, so I don't know what your issue is. At the moment, I've got it working as the driver for my QO100 system using 77s, but I have got FLDigi working up through the USB port, and that works a treat, no problem whatsoever, both for the frequency and the audio side via the USB rather than the accessory socket. I've got the remote control software for the 9700, but I haven't actually got that working yet. I've got it in on the computer, and I've just got to set up the 700 to 9700 to make it work, hopefully. But I don't know if that helps at all with your problems, Phil. Back to you, Greg, and thanks for running the net, and I'll keep you in the loop about trying for Peter on Pactar. G4NRC, G4KUJ.
UJ, G4NRC returning. Okay, yeah, thanks. If you would, it's been a while since I actually managed to make that link work, but some of it's down to his station constraints as well, about when we can shift him for times and frequencies. I think Phil might be keeping you in detention about his issues with the 9700, but we'll find out now because he's just discovered a friend. G4HUF, round to you, Phil. Thanks for including the West Cheshire RAYNET group nets in your own reminders, your own group. G4HUF, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HUF returning. Right, fair enough. Well, let's get through the comments that I scribbled down after our last over. With regard to programming the set, I have swapped the lead and tried an alternative. It was the first thing I did before I started playing with different computers in that respect. As far as the radio mobile stuff's concerned, there's no panic on that, Greg. We've got plenty of time to worry about that in that regard. And as I think I mentioned previously, Jim G1HUL had sent me some stuff across, which, although looks good, looking at the terrain and all the rest of it, shall we say, I'm going to make sure, doubly sure that things work out before we make a decision on how to configure radio's operations on that day. So there's no urgency there. With regard to the 9700, right, it is underused as far as the operation of it's concerned, and I've decided that it would be sensible to put some frequencies in it, and I sorted out the RT Systems software to use with it, and everything works beautifully. I've upgraded the software and made sure I've got the latest issues of the software for RT and all the rest of it. And as I say, I've tried it on a couple of computers, well, in fact 3, One that I know does work, which I tend to use for programming the sets that are in the car when they need to be tweaked, and also the desktop. Ironically enough, the desktop wouldn't play initially, but RT Systems have obviously sorted out their software, and that will do things. But the issue that I've got is that it won't download data from the radio to the computer, and when it uploads it, it works beautifully until you get to the point where it indicates that everything is being completed and sent, and then you get an error message coming up on the screen of the radio. And as I say, as I've tried the other variables, I think it's a case of having a look to see whether or not there's a setting in the wrong position on the 9700 to resolve the problem. But again, it's not a high priority job. There's no panic as far as that's concerned, and I'm prepared to be patient and give it a go when I get the opportunity. One final quick comment. I spotted a YouTube video that had been put up by the ARRL initially, or created by the ARRL, about amateur radio in the late 60s, which was very interesting. But more on that another time, because I'm waffling. G4NRC, this is G4HUF.
HUF, G4NRC. Yep, all copied. Okay. Should all have heard all of that. Okay, all noted, and we'll target my activities where they need to be. I have a lot of a week off in February, but most of that seems to be taken in trying to sort out the renewals for a lot of everybody's temporary repeater call signs, which is more pressing because they've all got to be done by the end of February. Well, the ones that are due anyway, which is a lot. So yeah, I'll be spending my time sending out letters to people and the offending emails asking them to please confirm their ongoing demand. Right, thanks Phil. And yeah, ARRL videos from the 60s, or films from the 60s, same problems today, we just have different scale of them, that's all. I think for some of the ones I've seen. Okay, 7-3's Phil, talk to you soon, and winding up the next day is Colin, 2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4NRC, over.
Zero CMS. Right, just a quick comment about DMR. I know there's been lots of firmware upgrades lately for the Anytone and things like that. I must admit, I've not messed about with any of them. My radios are working at the moment. I do monitor the forums and things, and I know I do see some messages from various people that it's caused them issues. So I've just left mine because it's working. Although I'm using the GD88 today. Just a comment for Phil. I think you've probably got me confused with Colin Bowman M0 NLP. Quite easily done. We quite often work together. In fact, there's another Colin in my group as well, and we've had all three of us in control a couple of events, and it's quite confusing when the organisers come in and want to be introduced and say, well, this is Colin, and this is Colin. There's far too many Collins in the world. Anyway, nothing further from me, so thanks for running the net, Greg, and I'll pass it back to you. G4NRC 20 CMS.
We'll try again. 2 Echo 0 Charlie Mike Sierra, G4NRC, this time with the Brandmeister link coming in as well. Okay, it's almost a queue there to get some t-shirts made for Colin 1, 2 and 3. At least you could confuse them even more then if you're all wearing much the same. Noted the comment about firmware upgrades. That's very much, or is very much what used to be the Linux mentality of if the upgrade doesn't have a feature you want, then don't bother. Leave the system stable. can't do that quite so easily with computer systems anymore, but certainly with radio firmware. I did find with the Radio Oddity DB25, I put the upgrade on and it had an allergic reaction to my firmware and made the radio very deaf on 2 meters until they did a fix. Just disappointing they haven't currently rolled that fix out onto the public website yet. So yes, there are issues where I wanted the encryption function, that's why I did the upgrade. But kind of regretted it afterwards and wished I'd left things alone. And might do the same again with an older radio that Trevor knows I might be resurrecting at some point over the next few days with, do I really want to bring this up to date or just want it working again? Anyway, a more relaxed net this week since I didn't have to run off to basketball, but we'll bring it to a close. So thanks everybody for taking time out to participate this afternoon. Be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on talk groups 23531, Pheonix and Brandmeister, and 50235331 on the RAYNET-UK system, and return those talk groups to being an open net rather than a directed net. 730, this is G4NRC, now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye bye.